Well, sad news, Victoria just joined, so we have to give her the time to talk.
Yes, there is no update, but I'm trying to promote the. Oh, sorry.
No, I saw
you
it. I didn't say it.
Yeah, so I'm just promoting the harvest as every week. Don't forget that this autumn we will have the next harvest conference. It will be in Prague. And about the venue, we are waiting for feedback. I also contacted SAP's Microsoft contacts. I haven't heard back from them. I think I will send an email to them tomorrow again. Maybe they forgot to to write me back, and we are also waiting for the other conference if there are possible opportunities to a collaboration.
Cool. Thank you.
Thank you. And next week I can talk about your topics.
Oh yeah, I have so many questions, like the best questions.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Who didn't know there was harvest at the end of the year? Sure, Lauren didn't know. He never listens to what we say about harvest. So, demos. Do we have demos today? Okay. Spring break soon, Mike, so you're not doing demos anymore? We are keeping the best demos for later.
Now you guys are tired of the AI module.
AI everywhere. What about AI? Oh, dude. I'm sure we will get a demo about an MCP server soon.
By whom?
Have you made one?
Nope.
Soon?
I don't know.
One that creates content items or themes or UI or whatever. Widgets, what can it be? Workflows? Yeah. Oh, it could be one that creates workflows.
Yeah.
Content items too. What will we create? Yeah, I mean, I could imagine you point to a website and you say, create me the same site in Orchard, and it will go in the admin and create the types of content items, themes. It will be 100% be able to do that. I'm sure. It's crazy. Oh boy. So, no demos. So many questions. Status. So let me check. 325. It's here. Flow part. I can zoom in a little. Flow part expand. I can zoom in more. Flow part expanded state configuration. So, got the contribution that adds setting such that you can decide for each content type that is a flow part or a back part if you want the part to be collapsed or expanded or not collapsed. So collapsed content items, by default it's false, which means it will be expanded. So this might change some UI for some users in 3.0, but you can change it per content item if you want. Because today, I don't know which one. One is open, one is closed by default, and now you can select what you want per type, either the flow or the background. So new contributor, okay. We merged this 5 years after, add data localization API. So new set of APIs to create dynamic data localization. And with a simple first provider for content types. Where is it? Where is it? Is there one here? Or there is none? I thought there was one. Or maybe it's just the test. There one. Surprise. Okay, new APIs. And soon we'll have a UI to be able to customize some dynamic data, for instance, a content type. Article, blog post, you will be able to say the translation for each languages of these strings, and then we can provide more providers. So content types will be a provider, content field names will be a provider. Anything that is dynamically added would be managed by a data localizer provider, data translation provider, and then the UI will show every value and their translations that we can set in the admin. That's the goal. So the contribution from Hisham. Make solution build on the .NET 10. With the latest preview, there is something that fails in Orchard. So it's just checking that if we are trying to build Orchard in .NET 10, we didn't talk about it. Okay, I did 2 PRs. So this one, yeah, okay. So this is new. This is not something old. I'm surprised we didn't talk about it before, but we haven't. In this meeting at least. So yeah, so this PR allows someone to download the .NET 10 and to change the default target framework in one of these prop files to the .NET 10 and then build on the .NET 10. And it won't fail. So that's what this PR is about. And to not fail, it needs to not reference this package when we are on the .NET 10, because what this package includes is already in the .NET 10 now. So they imported the features from this package to runtime. So every project that was referencing it now is conditioned by it's not building for the .NET 10 or later. What else? So that's the same thing. It's disabling a warning because in .NET 10, if we have a program CS without what? Without an XML comment, it will fail because it's a public class. That's weird. I would say it's like a bug in .NET 10, but it's disabling the warning here for now. So same thing. Then, due to the fact that system link is imported, there are things that work the same or not, like IS enumerable support, which is now by default. But at the same time, because it's there are some calls that we can't do as easily, or I wasn't able to map, so we'll see later. So this code is simpler, just the wait for each instead of where await. So the where await was from system link async. Now in .NET 10, it's just where that can take an async lambda, but I wasn't able to do exactly the same thing as before. So I rewrote it in a simple way. For which, if the predicate is true, add it to a collection. Okay, easy. I can read that. I can write it at least. I wasn't able to write the equivalent in the .NET 10. Anyone wants to try that can do that.
Is this something that a code analyzer warned you about, or did you just search for such cases?
That thing?
Yeah.
What do you mean, search for that? It didn't build after that. It doesn't build on .NET 10 because So when they imported the where await from the library, they decided, the runtime team, to not call it where await. They wanted to call it where. Okay, but the return type of that thing is not exactly the same, and I wasn't able to get it working. And I spent too much time trying to get it working without docs, so I just rewrote it without the where. So it's not about analyzer, it's about it didn't compile. Like the type I was expecting to be an async enumerable to be able to do that didn't work. I didn't get an async enumerable after calling where with the async one. So because I didn't know how to do that, I'm like, okay, let's forget about this async enumerable and do it this way. Or maybe I was wrong. Maybe it's because I changed this one to return an async enumerable. I don't know. If someone wants to look into it to see how we can use where and it works, fine. It's just that thing. And this code will work in the .NET 8, 9, 10. And I bet you it's doing exactly the same thing as where await. Right? There is no optimization in any way in where await versus this thing. You should. That's it. Then do not close underlying string. It seems like we've done that. Do not close underlying string in GraphQLMiddleware. So string reader using, this will be disposed later. Leave open true. Oh crap, when you create a string reader on string, it closes the string by default. So sad. So you can't write after this thing or read it. Interesting. I want to see what the issue look like then. What should we 1760? There should be a way to do right click and go to the PR or something. Kind of sad. And 17675. No issue in case if application HTTP logging. Cannot read and log request body because GraphQL. So HTTP logging feature is able to log the body of the request. It's opt-in, but you can do that. Or headers or whatever. It's all opt-in. Because this poses body, so then the logger can't read it and log it. Interesting. Yeah, that's good. We should check whenever we are using a string reader if we should leave it open or not. Or use string reader. To change. George, what have you done? This is email confirmation for users created through the admin portal. Oh, that's the discussion you had about the PR for the where to do the confirmation and check if it's valid or not. Okay. And here. Cool. Thank you, George. Prevent no reference exception in ListsAdminNode. Define definitions, display name. Now it's ContentType by default. And if there is a content model value content type. I'm confused. Oh, it is because if the type doesn't exist, it's not if this value is null. It mostly never happens. But the issue is that if this is null, then you would get null, and then we don't know what to do. It's failing. Now, if you can't find the type that is requested, you say, it's okay, we'll just use the requested type as the display name. Okay. Fix menu permission picker view select dependency. Yes, because we ship version 2 and 3 of Vue.js. And what I'm seeing is just what Mike told me during triage. Then we need to be explicit about which version we want to use for all these components, these Vue components. So somewhere amongst all the changes that don't have a relationship with that, there is a version. Here. Otherwise, it will pick up the latest version 3. So now we say, no, version 2, please. Just a fix workflow editor start activity, some UI stuff, I believe. Okay, this is JavaScript generation, pipeline, so TypeScript. Oh, this is TypeScript. Oh, no, this is the source file. Okay, so there are some changes here. Looks like formatting so far.
This is actually related to the new asset manager because Bootstrap was now included into the admin script, and it was included twice in some pages, which causes errors.
Okay.
But it's all fixed. There are several other PRs following about the same issue, but it's all fixed now.
Looks like a tool formatted all this code.
Yeah, these changes are unrelated.
Okay.
The problem is in the resource management options. CS.
Bootstrap admin set dependencies, yes, plan.
But this is outdated already. It's changed again.
Okay, and then this one.
Yes.
That's huge. Last week, I think a colleague made fun of the project names, the templates, because they are called the admin theme or the something everything. The theme, yeah. The theme. And then they were like, why the theme? So everything has to change when it was referencing admin, it has to call now the admin. This one doesn't depend on anything.
It has depend on Bootstrap again. That's the main change here.
It needs one more line to explain when users will have to change their views, like what error they are supposed to see, and if they see this error that they need to change, depends on admin to depends on Bootstrap. It should be written in the checkbox. But it's not written here. And I see these PR changes.
Yeah, this is reverting the change.
Oh, it's reverting something.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
I think so. It's older.
It's an old change.
Because Bootstrap was embedded into the admin script. The whole Bootstrap.
And then we added twice.
And
okay,
then,
now we just added
yeah,
Bootstrap.
and now it's removed again. It's a separate file.
Okay. So in case there is a change to do, it should be that. Where was I? Correctly normalize line list for source mapping. Why have you done it?
Oh, there was, if you have multiple successive new lines, they were collapsed into a single one, which invalidates the whole source map.
What kind of regular expression is that? That's not.
I have no idea. It works somehow.
Yeah, but you know what I mean is that no, this doesn't work because
it works, but it's doing too much.
Wait, no, I don't think you. No. Yeah, you can, but
this is now forcefully only selecting.
Yeah,
return
there is a selector
line.
for. Yeah.
These were selecting new lines, and the actual error was the plus because it matched multiple of them.
Okay.
And replaced it with a single one.
Okay, I understand. If it's a backlash and you don't need to replace it, it's just if it's
Windows.
Okay.
Yeah.
But this should be unnecessary. This is just somehow
it's a fix for
something was merged, but it shouldn't be necessary. I don't know how we could fix it. Maybe we could try to create a new PR, but it should not be necessary.
Yeah, but Jasmine tried to.
Yeah, I
was many ways to. Yeah.
I tried also, and I agreed that maybe his machine was corrupted in some way, or his PR was corrupted, but we were not able to get the correct line endings on his machine and on the PRs when we pushed.
Right.
Eventually it will go away. Well, it works. Okay.
And now the source maps are also working.
Are they? Because they were not working?
They were not working, no. Because multiple lines were collapsed into a single one, and all line numbers were wrong. You can't debug with them.
Okay. The user approval process outside of the edit form. Okay, so in the past, you want to talk, Mike, or do we read?
I can talk. So in the past, we had a confirm email checkbox was in the edit user form that an admin is able to check it to basically confirm the email for the user. it didn't make sense. So we removed it from the user edit form, and now it's part of the UI, just like how you can delete a user and how you can reset their password. You have an option now to say confirm email, and
I see.
you'll get
It was a checkbox, not an action.
now
Yeah,
it's an
that's weird.
action.
Okay, cool. I get it. Action versus state. Okay, cool. I would also say this could also be a button in this view. But then you don't, yeah, it's save or, yeah, okay, that's good. Okay. Fix vue-multiselect, we can see version 2, some more versions 2 everywhere. Bug in .NET 10 preview 4, well, bug, something that breaks should be on .NET 10. That requires that until the thing is fixed in ASP.NET Core. And I think that's a new feature that we might want to use then. It's available when we switch the .NET 10. Validation, generative validation, form validation.
What's this about?
I don't know. It's good.
Okay.
Let's see. Good question. Interceptors, ASP.NET Core, then interceptors, validation, and I will open the issue. I think it's to render UI validation in the client side. You had to use libraries before, but now it's integrated. So let's see. Let's do a quick search. It should be easy. PR. Oh, that's plugins mentioning that. Where is the PR? I saw the PR here. Shoot, validation check, generator. Validations generator. Look at what I typed here. Maybe that's it. Is that the page opened? It's like the same. Is it just to be compatible with IoT? Maybe. But some validation is generated now. I will ask if there is a new feature or if it's just a better implementation because it's code generated instead of being dynamic by reflection and the attributes. I will ask. Back here, well, at least it broke on the method. So now it will work. Just need to add that line in the project. OrchardHelper content API should be accessible without namespace. So moving Razor extension helpers around such that the classes such that we can use them without any namespace. So you just need to reference the correct projects, and you will see the helpers get content item, read, I, handle, sync, stuff like that. Beautiful. Update identity packages 6.2. Then fix ContentType SaveAndContinue. Simon, we used a custom bind prefix here. Save and continue. Same name, but different values. Here, if this value of this name, so get the value for this name and save and continue and save somewhere, or just save. No, if it's save and continue, this is stay on the same page. If it's not, then it's not stay on the same page. NJsonSchema 11.2, NodaTime 2.2, AWS SDK, Elastic Dockerfile. I use setup.min instead of setup.js. Okay, where is that coming from? Should set up views. Because it's set up, we don't have any resource yet, so we don't have anything. Okay, so we need to run directly to the correct file. Big catch. How do we find that? Look at the source code and we try, oh, that's great. Cypress image update. From update. Ooh, a new major version. Remove unnecessary padding for input validation. Let's see if there is some UI with that. 7695. Or screenshot. Is that? I'm lost. Where do we have? So this is the validation. What is that?
I don't know either.
Oh yeah, even Zoltan is like, what the fuck? I've never seen that. Maybe when you zoom, see it? That's weird. Maybe that's a zoom issue. And it looks good when you don't zoom, but when you zoom, you see it.
It's
Okay.
only when you have an error.
Yeah, okay, so nobody has never any error and let them zoom, so we never see that. Or maybe this is because of recent changes when we added some improvement on validation, right? Like recently, we got 2 PRs for that.
No, I think this existed in a while.
Okay.
Just never got it reported. So it's
Move the AI search under settings search. Well, at least we don't have a new admin menu. Just move something. How did it move?
I just
Oh,
moved it under
search.
search.
Yeah, I see. So now
Settings,
because we have
search, yeah.
search here, it will go under search. Okay. Before it was under directly settings or search. Okay. Cool. And fix Bootstrap. Load it twice. Now it's loaded once. It's best thing ever. As long as it works. Everyone's happy. Admin depends on Bootstrap. Admin. Okay, good job, everyone.
There's a PR. I put a link to it in the chat.
Is there a PR? You pinged me about a PR yesterday, and I looked at the PR. And I'm like, okay, I get it. But I had a question. It's a feature. That could have been a demo. Mike. Well,
yeah, I can't.
so this is the page that we generate. Maybe the only page that we generate that is among two other things, right? The search page. We don't have, and I would say maybe the only front-end controller we have to render something, search results. And here you are extending it to use the results from Elasticsearch only to find the hints and then customize the HTML that is rendered here.
Well, this right here is basically, you know, the partial of the document where it's relative. So in this case, we show the highlights, which is the relative text based on your search. Whereas before, we just rendered the entire content type or content item using the summary.
Hey.
So above the first one is a shape that's generated using the summary view. And the next one is a HTML, which is the partial of the document that Elastic returned.
So there is some magic in the view to decide what to return.
There is, and that's why I'm not 100% sold on it, but I think it's fair. Meaning, if the search engine returned highlights, we trust that that's the right thing, because by default, we don't return highlights. So someone has to say, hey, I want you to return highlights. So if the query is returning highlights, then we say, okay, we're going to show the highlights. Otherwise, we're just going to show what we always have, which is the shape.
Does the scene support that? It's true.
I don't know. I think it does, but I don't know. We support it. If it does, then all we need to is just pass or set the highlighter, and everything else falls in place.
But I saw it was in the model. So you didn't add it.
It is.
So
correct.
the scene should be able to do that, which would be better to support it by default. Not just when Elasticsearch, but here at least you check if there is highlights. You say, give me the highlights. Otherwise, why no? Oh, summary. I was like, where is summary? Summary is there. Summary. And like every time we have an if and two things that are rendered, maybe it should be one alternate, and then you can provide. How could we handle that? Should we have? But that works. That works. That's not breaking. You can still customize it, but had changed your summary, then you don't see a summary anymore. Should we actually here say build display async for custom rendering for the search, like search summary? Might be independent of your PR, but should we let users be able to just change the search summary for this view? Or we tell them, well, change the search results page and what you want. How do you get the highlights there? Oh, there is an indexer on there. And this is HTML, you see it's value.type how, because the way it works.
Because that's what Elastic would search or return. Yeah, because you can also configure it. Look at the conversation.
Okay, it's the documentation.
Yeah, so this is an example where in the highlights, I'm saying, hey, I want you to also highlight the keywords, and I'm specifying HTML that I want you to highlight it with. And then fields below is a list of fields that I want you to return highlights from. And in this case, I'm saying, show me up to 3 segments. And also each fragment, I want it to be no more than 150 characters in long and length.
Okay, that's great.
But you can change that whatever you want.
Can you set these things also in the query?
You can.
Okay. It's more involved with using. The only concern is the complexification of this view. Before it was just summary, now it's a check. It shouldn't break anyone because it will still call summary if there is no highlight. Configure the query.
And the good thing is that it's a view, so anybody can override it.
Yeah, thinking if we should still have like an alternate for that. I believe there was a way for users that by default, if they don't change anything, it's using the summary. But there's an alternate that says if you have a dot search result template for a content type, then it will use that. And well, it's independent from this PR, but here, it will also mean that if there is a highlight, it's not using the summary anymore. It will always use the highlight. It would be scary because if you want to customize your search results to show some UI, then you can't customize it anymore. For content types, you have to change the full view.
Yeah, correct. But if you want to explicitly enable highlights, you would have to go and enable it. It's not enabled by default. So by default, behavior doesn't change. So if someone is already overriding their summary, that they can do whatever they like, they continue to do whatever they want, unless they say, I want to enable highlights too, then we'll just take the highlights over the summary.
Where do you put this query?
So whenever in the search settings, we have a way to provide that.
Okay. So if you change your search settings to add the highlights, then it will use highlights everywhere, but they can't customize the rendering anymore.
Correct. Well, they can customize the view itself, but yeah.
But for the view itself. What if the default search result was doing this logic? And if they override the search result for content type, then it will use the logic they want for the content type instead of this logic.
The only other way to do it is to create a shape out of the result, which will give us the highlights plus the content item. And then someone can override that, but it kind of will add more resources because now we're going to create a shape only to allow it to create other shape, which is a summary.
Okay, I think it's fine right now. And then if we want to do another PR, if someone really wants to do another PR to change the way it's handled, to make it more customizable, less, or you have to rewrite the full view to change whatever.
Why do you want to use loop instead of?
Because here you are just creating you have a bunch of highlights, which are HTML fragments.
Yeah.
Right? And you're just saying concatenate all the fragments in memory and then render the full thing on the HTML. Why not just for each fragment render it? So you don't have to create one big string for each content item instead of streaming it to the output.
I assume that join is optimized and it's using span.
Well,
so it's not adding.
No. This thing creates a new string. So whatever the size of the sum of the chars, it will create a new string of the size.
I see. Okay. Okay.
Exactly what's done here, I believe. For key highlights, content. Yeah, that's the same. So here, you see there is no join. It's just writing each value raw.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay, so let's merge it and follow up on a PR if anybody is willing to suggest a better solution. Cool. And I wanted to check what before that. Before the PRs. I wanted to check something I forgot. Current PRs 10. Then badge. George is working too hard. We should be live soon. Highlights. RESTful APIs for media. What is that? RESTful APIs for media. Fixes something. Okay. API endpoints, authorize API, same thing, beautiful. We'll review that on Thursday. Looks interesting.
It's a draft.
Okay. Test 5 HTTP test to play with it on Visual Studio. Okay, let's see. I think about something. I don't think so. Anyone, anything, topics, questions? All good, on time. Thanks, everyone. See you next time.
Thank
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Have a nice day. Bye bye.